Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Time to 10x your life, your business, all of it. Time to crush those goals. Time to get after it. Let's go. You are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast. Robert Farrell here, certified 10X coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together we're going to elevate Springfield. We're coming to you again from beautiful downtown Springfield in the Big Dog Construction Studio. Hey, we've got so much going on in Springfield right now. Make sure you are participating. Get out there, network with folks, be a part of the community, support local businesses, support local nonprofits, and let's go. We can all grow together. So, hey, another great episode for you today. We're going to get right to our guest after the break. Hey, Springfield, when it comes to reliable, high-quality roofing, you don't want to leave things to chance. That's why you should reach out to Acosta Angeli Roofing, your local roofing expert, serving Springfield and surrounding communities. From quick, dependable repairs to full replacement, from residential to commercial, they are your trusted pros. Call them today at 217-993-2748 or visit their website to book your free quote and inspection. Don't wait. A little leak now could lead to major damage later. Trust the local experts, protect your home, and get peace of mind with Acosta Angeli Roofing. All right, and we are back. Joining me in the studio now, Ward 2 Alderman, Mr. Shawn Gregory. Shawn, how you doing today, man?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
Appreciate you
Good.
coming and spending some time with me. Finally got a little bit of sunshine.
A little bit.
Grayness.
A little bit. It's still a little chilly out there.
Oh, yeah.
No, I appreciate the invite. It's good to be here, man. You're doing a good job. I love the place. It looks nice. Very, very, very professional. So, hey, you're doing a good job, man.
I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about you, talking about all the impact you're making on the community and all the things. But let's start with you. Tell us a little about your background, man.
Well, I'm, I would like to say originally from Springfield, but I'm not. I was born in Denver, Colorado, and spent a little time down in Madison, Venice area where both sides of my family are from. Came up here through foster care and been up here since, very, very young, probably about 6, 7, something like that. And been here ever since, Landfair Lion, class of 03.
Okay.
Seen some of the greats play, Andre Iguodala, Rich McBride, and, enjoyed the Xavier Bishops. And
I was going to say, that would have been right in that.
Oh, yeah.
When was Iguodala here? What was his year?
He was 02. He graduated in 02.
You're right in there then.
Yep, I'm Richard McBride's class. And, just seeing these youngsters when I was coaching, especially like Xavier Bishop and Joaquin Rose and stuff. So, old Landfair guy. And, so it's a pleasure to represent this community. I grew up there on Carpenter and, bounced around a little bit. My adopted mom passed a little bit before I got elected. She actually used to live in Madison Park Place.
Okay.
So, to grow up and, represent that area is sort of cool. Yeah, so, I've coached for a while. I used to run a organization called the Springfield Lions Youth Basketball Organization. We've held the Capital City Classic for, I think, 8, 9 years here. And we ran that program for about 10 years as well. Me and a guy out of Chatham named Mark McHugh and my brother called Q Harper, he passed, and some other guys. We did a good job. 4 or 5 levels of programs. Even had some teams out of Decatur, wearing Springfield Lions gear. So, fantastic ride. I coached, some football those same years. Called the Springfield Wildcats.
Okay.
So a bunch of kids, and some of them went off to college, and some of them growing and still, and bumped their heads. So that was a fantastic opportunity to coach. And I coached at Southeast under Coach Lauber as well. before I got elected. I wish I could have kept coaching, but it was just
Hmm.
so busy, and I just wanted to be focused and committed. If you're gonna do something like that and coach, you got to be committed. So
Yeah.
absolutely, I tried it for a few years. It was just rough. It
Sure,
didn't work
sure.
out.
So what was the impetus to the tournament and everything, the Capital City Classic? Like when you guys were thinking about that, what was driving force there?
Well, it was really to help our program with finances and really to, take less of the burden off the parents and, get our kids more and really just to have a tournament to a lot of times parents couldn't travel. So they could see their babies play. And I grew some great relationships with some people from St. Louis. Mike Cross, he had a brand called Baller's Wife, and he came up and set up, brought his teams who were very, very good, who we met and played with while we was on the road. And we linked up and we started hosting our tournament here. He bring his teams here, and man, it attracted other teams because they were so good. And we had a really really competitive tournament for a long time. We had it out to UIS a couple of
Uh-huh.
years, so um, just it was a good time, and it just kept going. It just kept going and growing. We originally did it just to sort of generate some funds for our team and
Sure.
try to do it. And that was the first big business thing that I had done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where you had to start balancing. Besides the team, I mean that was a business too because you still had to calculate how many tournaments and how much each player needs to pay and where you need to be at and try to get sponsorships
Right.
and stuff like that. So it was good, and man. It really helped me. The kids always like, "Oh, thank you, coach." I'm like, "No, I thank y'all
Right.
because
Because that's
know,
exciting as a young guy starting a business and having that whole
absolutely.
thing. Right?
Yeah, yeah, and it kept me out of trouble. You did start turning me a little bit, and I had my son, and he was coming along, and his brother at that time, I was coaching him too. So, it was good. It was fantastic. And then that's sort of how I, got into the community thing
Yeah.
and the kids and coaching them, and then I took on Juneteenth and
Mhm.
for a while, and then politics came, and here I am in that 8 years later, almost 8 years later, and looking at one last term. That's it.
Looking back at Lanphier, you ever think, "Hey, I'm gonna be in politics one day"?
No. Heck no. No, man, I was like the normal kid, man. I was
Yeah.
looking forward to going to college and play
Uh-huh.
some football. I had interest in going to Illinois College, and I had to come back here and go to Lincoln Land for a little bit to straighten out some grades, and then life
Yeah.
just go.
Yeah.
Life just go. You think you're gonna do something, and no, life just goes, man. You get to working and stuff, and next thing you know, kids happen,
Yep.
and so that's something that I always preach back to my sons, any youth that I'm around. Hey, take your time, be a kid as long as you can. Go knock out the hard work now, so you don't
Mhm.
have to do it later, and things are a little easier for you. So,
Right.
absolutely.
So when you played ball, what position you play?
I play wide receiver and defensive back, of course.
Okay.
Yep, 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 yep. I was probably a better wrestler than anything.
Oh, really?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I was a wrestler. I wrestled 3 years. I didn't finish out my senior year, but I probably should have pursued that more, right? I should have
Okay.
probably put my focus on that, but I wanted to be a football
Oh,
player,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
but
Feel like it's a little more glamorous, a little more
yeah,
everybody
yeah. But if
uh-huh.
I could go back, I would have put some focus on that. I thought I could have go to school and that and
Mhm.
wrestle on that, especially seeing how the UFC and some of that stuff is now. And,
Yeah, it's
and
huge now.
exactly. It wasn't then. It was around, but it wasn't as big it is. And I'll probably be doing that. Hindsight
Yeah.
always 2020.
No, it's crazy the growth of UFC. I remember, I mean, back then when it was first starting, yeah, you look at it and it was just small, 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 and then
yeah.
all of a sudden, just
Oh
bam,
yeah,
it's
super
huge.
super flyweight.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. There you go. There you go.
But no, I wrestled 103, and with Bobby Brants, he was our senior. He was the man, of course. And then I was the young guy. I was the young up and coming guy a little bit. So absolutely, we had good times as a team. Coach Gardner, we one of the last Gardner boy crews.
Sure, sure.
So it was good times. I always think about that stuff and seeing the development of land for what it is now. It's just beautiful to witness.
Not about it.
Especially from my position. It's good to see some of these changes.
No, wrestling, that's always one. I played football in high school over at MacArthur in
Okay.
Decatur, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
And the wrestling coach every year, he'd come at me like, "Man, when you coming out to wrestling? When you coming out to
Yeah.
wrestling?" I just never did it.
Yeah.
But I look back on it and I was like, I'm probably in a similar situation. He's like, I probably would have been a better wrestler than I was
Yeah.
a football
Yeah.
player. Probably should have
Yeah.
taken him up on the
Absolutely,
up
man.
on the offer, but I never did.
Man, fantastic sport. It's really a mano a mano sport,
Mhm.
and female to female sport. And what's good is it's a test of endurance. it is a test of endurance, and our coach used to work us really, really, really hard. But he was a horse himself, Greco-Roman champion, went to Eastern,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer. Rest in peace, Coach Gardner, for sure.
So let's talk about your path to politics a little bit. When'd you even start thinking about, man, maybe I will get into this a little bit?
It had never been like a lifelong thought or nothing. I actually was running Juneteenth and things, and the gentleman who was my mentor in the 5th grade, Herman Senor, Mr. Senor, he was running for state rep. And I wanted some funding for Juneteenth, and I think I got turned down or something, and I got mad or whatever. And I had met with a young lady at the time named Lisa Badger. And she, like my best female friend now to this day. But we talked, we had a great talk and stuff, and we settled on me running for it. And she helped me through with it and, just taught me so much in those early stages, her, and great advice by Frank McNeil, who was the first Black alderman for my ward. And I ran, and it was tough. It was some snow on the ground when we was running and stuff. Just learning everything, and sort of went back and just sort of had to watch videos of other people who have ran for offices, and some of the questions that they asked about Springfield, like, Hunter Lake. That was one of the questions.
Sure.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I didn't know
that always comes up.
Yeah, I didn't. It still comes up to this day. You know nothing about Hunter Lake, so I had to go study Hunter Lake and what
Yeah.
benefits, pros, cons, where people's at on Hunter Lake, because it came up,
Right.
amongst other things. So it was a fantastic ride, practicing in the mirror how to talk and stuff, and just trying to get your talking points, getting ready for debates and stuff. It was really a great experience, and something that I'll never forget even after I'm done of it. That's why I work hard at it, because it's you before you get in it, you like, oh man, those people don't care and they ain't listening to me, and votes don't count. And I won by one vote. So when I start running, and when it was about February, my birthday's in February, but actually on the 18th, I got about there, and I'm like, man, I I think I'm gonna win this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna win this thing. I was running against 3 other people. 2 of them's former aldermen of that's 12 years between experience between 2 of them, and another guy. And I'm like, man, I'm doing pretty good. I said, I'm catching on. I'm doing it. And by George, it comes down to that election day, and I'm pacing, and I had walked down to Democratic offices and downtown, and just to look at some official numbers. And man, I came back out to go back down to the watch party, and everybody's running out looking for me and stuff because I had won.
Just call it. All right.
By one vote. And of course, whenever you win by one vote, there's always a opportunity for the opponent to challenge,
Oh, yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
you're in a certain percentage. So we went through that process, redid the votes, and looking at 1,400 votes, different ballots and stuff like that. It was crazy. And
Did it still end up just one vote separated, or did it change a little bit?
it wound up being a tie. It wound up going down to city council making the decision. They ruled it a tie, and then they did a pull the ball out of the bag. My ball was number 1, and that's the ball that was pulled. And so I still say one vote. God didn't lie, and he showed us that it is. And it's been a fantastic ride. And even those who I did defeat in that election, they've been great advisors, Mr. Senor and Ms. Simpson. Anytime I've called upon them, they've helped, and they didn't hold any grudges. They've been great mentors to me over the time as well.
Absolutely. So you said when you were first starting, you were running Juneteenth. So what all did that entail at that time, and how has that changed over the years?
Juneteenth, oh man, we was really just trying to build it up, turn it a little more, get the youth involved a little more. At that point in time, we was doing something called the Future Leaders Breakfast, which they currently have brought into Juneteenth. And honestly, I was just the guy running around trying to make connections. And the current director, Shawn Gregory, she was really the glue that pulled things together, and she runs it now. Of course, when I resigned, of course, that's who took over. And her and Serena Douglas, they have done a fantastic job of really elevating that celebration. Big stages out there, artists, and from the city side, I have been going to bat to make sure that we recognize how important Juneteenth is to our city, because Juneteenth is the emancipation of Black people, and we're in Abe Lincoln's hometown, and it ties together. It should be. In my mind, we always should have one of the biggest Juneteenth,
Absolutely.
the biggest Juneteenth in America.
Completely agree.
With our ties. So they have done a fantastic job for that. We just celebrated the 30th year anniversary. This will be 31 years. So I'm so proud of them and happy for them, and always gonna keep trying to help them in any way we can. Keep that celebration going, because they've done a fantastic job.
No doubt about it. So over the last 8 years, right, as alderman, how do you feel like you've elevated the community, elevated the people of Springfield, man?
Well, over the last 7, about to be 8, but, I think one thing for sure, a lot more people from my community and younger people and people who didn't generally pay attention to politics are paying attention more because you got somebody a little different than what traditionally is sitting there, are paying attention. We've got some really, really good things going on. We spurred some economic development along 11th Street and Cap 1908. We've gotten some youth activities done. Everything that I went on campaign about, we've done. Now I'm,
Mhm.
um, on that second chapter, the next steps of those
Sure.
things. And youth, youth, we got a new youth community center. We're working together to continue to make sure that they have funding to do the great work that they do. We've tore down, 60 houses in our community.
Mhm.
We replaced those and about to get 50 more going. Nehemiah Project has done a fantastic job. Root History, which is a black museum that tells the experience of the black people along Route 66. We're about to
Mhm.
come up on that centennial.
Yep.
So
A lot
they've
of stuff
done,
going on for
yeah,
that this year.
heck
Yeah.
yeah. They've done a good job with that. Um, there's no singular project that I can be more proud of. I'm proud of our collective body of work. I think that's how I want to be judged, right? Is the collective body of work that I've done. Cause I ain't gonna be perfect, right? I'm gonna drop the ball. I'm gonna,
We all do.
be unprofessional. But what needs to be done in our community has to really, really be aggressively sought. It has to be an everyday thing, and I try to, keep that at forefront. I try to help, and there are people a lot will be like, you can't help everybody. I know, but it's tough. It's tough to tell them that, right?
Right. You
So
can still get out there and try,
yeah.
though.
So you try to look for ways, and everything that comes across my desk, I try to look for a way for it to work.
Mhm.
How can we make it work? What can we do? And, sometimes you just can't, but most things you can. And it may take a little work from them, but I'm always there to help and try to help. And it makes you very, very busy. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but it's well worth it. So it's a sacrifice, that you got to make. You got to really tunnel in. So my mindset is, look, you're gonna do this as long as you can, so you're termed out, and you're gonna go as hard as you can. Just like I was coaching my players, just like we're gonna battle. Even if we're facing the number one team in the country, we're gonna try to take away their best players and this and that, and we're gonna scheme and we're gonna try to win the game. We're gonna play hard.
Yeah.
Minute go and we can be down 10. We still trying to
I
crack it
love it.
in,
We talk about that in 10X all the
Yeah,
time, man.
yeah,
Just that 10X action. Just keep
yeah.
going,
You
keep
gotta keep
going, keep
going.
going,
You gotta
keep
put the
pushing.
work in.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that youth center.
It's called it's ran by Better Life, Better Living from Kids, and they do anything from podcasts to youth education. They're really, really big on the reading and writing and making sure our kids get those literacy numbers up throughout our high schools and schools. They have been around for a long time as just a group. They was throwing things in the park and doing things for the kids and worked really hard. We had something going called the Empowerment Zone that we was going to try to create with the old UCP buildings and really just have one big, community center again. Things just fell apart with that, but they have a new building and they're getting some of those things done still to this day. So it's working out, and they do a good job with that, as well as the Salvation Army, who I work well with. They do a lot of good. The Boys and Girls Club, they do a lot of good work. We work well with them. The Urban League. So we have so many good partners. The Outlet, they do a good job, as well as our churches who run various programs. So we have a lot of people working, and what's happening is we're all starting to get really on one page
Mhm.
because we realize how important it is and how we all have to be in sync because time is moving and before we lose it and lose the opportunity to really make the changes, we're really working hard to do those things and sell it out and get it growing for
Yeah.
sure.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Well, with Cap 1908, there's been a lot of stuff
Yeah.
going on with that
Oh
recently,
yes.
man.
Yes,
So
indeed.
give us an update on what's going on there.
So Cap 1908. So that is an acronym for Capital Access Project, right? It's ran by a younger gentleman. We old now. We keep thinking we young. We
Right,
might
right.
look young,
Uh-huh.
but Dominic Watson, and he is the president of the Springfield Project. He took it over from a gentleman named Tim Rawls. He passed it on to his young protege, as
Mhm.
people are supposed to do, and he had this vision that he came to me when I first got elected back in 2019. He had this vision, and we sat down and talked, and it was about this social incubator, this opportunity to grow minority and black owned businesses in our community. And I was like, wow, man, that's good. the building that he's in now, that was the target. It used to be an old beauty hair salon, and they
Mhm.
had sold it. It had set vacant. We had some problems in there with some parties and stuff like that. So we had our sights on turning that around, and we went in and we talked to the owners of those buildings, even next door, Madison Furniture and the glass shop. We went in
Mm.
and talked with those owners. I was just coming in anyways. I was on my way. But me and Dominic, we went, we talked with those owners. They loved the idea. They loved what we and Dominic were bringing to them, and they talked with him, and right there they came up with some prices we hadn't even,
Wow.
nothing, and we promised them we would get it done. We were gonna come back and we're gonna finish out, and it took about 2 years or so before we bought building number one, and then um, we bought buildings two and three through the city. I pushed that initiative. I want to say within the first year or so of this new 8 year 4 year term. So probably in 23 or so, he bought those second buildings, and the third building to do a commercial kitchen incubator type of deal, where he's growing small minority and black owned businesses
Yeah.
that do commercial kitchen or cleaning or cooking and things of that nature, with some offices upstairs as well. So the first building right now, it has about four different businesses that operate out of there. They hold office spaces there.
Uh-huh.
One is like Ali Healthcare. Ali Healthcare is a non-medical senior care facility. She has, of course, her office is there, but they have two senior homes where they take care of multiple seniors. Go
Wow,
by,
okay.
cook them dinner, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make sure the grad. They do everything for those people, and it's a service, and they do a really really great job. So and they were one of our cannabis grantees, and she got that grant. She got her office going. She was able to really do what she needed to do, set everything up,
Yeah.
have an office, and now boom, she's out taking care of one of our most vulnerable populations. So it does work.
That's impact right there,
That's
man.
impact.
Yeah.
That's what we need. From our community. Been there, know our community, and so it's not somebody that we have to worry about that's going to run off and not take care of their properties. It is really working well. So, the Dollhouse Project is a project ran by one of our Springfield police female detectives, a black woman, and they just simply work with female youth, and every year they give away a bunch of doll houses and mentor young high school students and young girls. So they do a fabulous job. Girls Glory, they do hair and stuff for young girls, of
Yeah.
course, with mentorship. I was just talking to a young man. He makes clothes, his
Mhm.
clothing business, but he's going to be tailoring now.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
he's gonna be, taking in. I told him, man, I got a couple things I sure
Uh,
need you to take in.
right.
So that's helping spur more minority and black owned businesses,
Uh-huh.
giving them a foundation to grow. And then eventually, guess what? They go out and now they're, able to go buy bigger places and
Mhm.
spur more. And now the next person's gonna
Then they're
come.
able to help you. Yeah, and
Yeah,
come
then
in
the
with
next, and it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling, and so it's been really well. And Cap 1908 has been a blessing to this community. They're also part of the history beyond the tracks, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But he's done a fantastic job with that. So I look forward to the second building of it, which is the commercial kitchen portion. And finally, that third building is gonna, unless he changes it, it's going to be more like a daycare slash performing arts studio. So I'm doing a fantastic job, and his next project, he has a pre-apprenticeship workforce
Love it.
coming.
Yeah, I saw that.
And one of the things that me and him always talk about is, and even with in my community, we have good, tough conversations on how we change from the same things we always have been doing. So with his pre-apprenticeship class, he's looking to get his students going and stuff. And get done, they'll have something to work on, which is maybe some of his projects, maybe
Mhm.
some of these projects in our community. So they don't get done with his pre-apprenticeship with nothing to do.
Right.
Everybody wants to end with something. They want to go to school and then they want to go to work. They want to
Mhm.
do a trade, then they want to go to work. And he's doing a fabulous job with that. So I look forward to that. They just completed some business seminars, 12 students.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the ones with the Growth Alliance or was that a different one?
Well, the Growth Alliance did their own thing. They did some more seminars and
Oh, yeah,
classes.
yeah,
He
yeah.
did a separate business success institute,
Okay.
and he's been
Awesome.
doing that. The
Yeah.
city of Springfield, we just launched our own version of it, which is more tailored to our funds and how to access city, which is great. Ethan Posey's doing a great job.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
did see that. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all flowing together. Everybody's and those classes are packed. He had it at our new fire station there on 11th Street. That's one of the projects that I'm very, very, very proud of. Because it's really made a difference. But it has a community room on that. The only one of the three that has that portion on there. But it was packed. It
Nice.
was jam-packed. He had 30 people in there. They didn't, really have enough room to really
Right.
it was
That's
packed
good.
of people who are eager to know how to do business. People do wanna know, and that's always my thing. I think we think that people don't wanna know. No, they just don't know where the information is at.
Right.
So we have to do a better job of saying, "Hey, this is where it's at. We here," and go at times place those meetings in their communities, in the communities that we actually wanna affect.
Yeah.
We get federal money, state money to do these things. Sometimes we gotta go to them instead of expecting it to come to us.
Yeah, like you said, sometimes it's simply people don't know where to start. They don't even know what information they need to be looking for sometimes. So you can bring that to them. So
Mhm.
you mentioned the cannabis grants. We were talking about that with Senator Turner. Now, it's been a few months now
Yeah.
since she was
Yeah.
in, but
Yeah. Yeah.
remind people how those work.
So we have back in 29, just a little context. I'm sure she spoke on it, but we got together and when that became legal, it was geared towards for the governor and Juliana Stratton to make sure that the funding and the to make the most impact on the areas hurt by the war on drugs, right? Which is of course my area and her former area. So we got together. We said, how do we make this funding best benefit our community, right? So we looked at the studies. Two of the major disparities in Springfield are the differences in home ownership and wage and income gap, right? So how do we affect those things? Well, let's put this money towards owner occupied home repair and business support, up to $100,000 for businesses, up to $25,000 per housing, because we have so many different housing ones. So we just wanted to put a little extra, but we know we have so many other federal and state funds for housing. So we have more of that than business funding. So we said we want half the taxes from it to go to those initiatives. But furthermore, we're gonna take draw the boundary of just the worst part right now. Just the worst part right now. We want to draw the boundary around that, and this is where that money can go, which is on the east side and in our most poverty stricken areas. It goes from um 11th and you might as well say Jefferson or Clear Lake, so to speak, all the way down to 11th and Ash, and all the way back to Dirks and that whole big old box.
Yeah, it's a decent. I
It's
mean,
a
it's a
nice
decent
box.
size. Yeah,
It's a nice
area.
box, and we'll get adding some areas to that could use some help too. Um, and we split it into those, and that's been the program. So it's had some bumps in the road for sure. As a business person yourself, many businesses in the first 5 years fail,
Hmm.
and some survive, and
Right.
and we want to give those opportunities because it has worked. So we took that funding, we put it into those programs, we set the amounts, we set the boundaries, and we let it go. And it's had some bumps in the roads. Of course, we talked about the stats of businesses and things of that nature. But overall, it's been successful. We talked about Ali Healthcare and the great work. There's a new bait and tackle shop on
Hmm.
11th Street that
Oh
people
yeah, yeah.
visit. They,
Hmm.
they go. That has been a benefit of that. Bourbon Street, Drake Commercial Cleaning, which is a cleaning company. They've grown. They own a building on 11th Street there, and on and on. Of successful people, and still going with it. So it's been successful, and we look to continue that, and just give as much opportunity to people as we can. So it's been a great program. We're one of the only cities in the state that have done something like that.
Hmm.
The other one's Evanston, and they've done a little different. Of course, I'm biased to ours, right?
Sure.
But it's been fantastic. It's historic legislation that I'm happy to share with a historic senator like Senator Turner.
As I said, she was the
Um,
kind of driving force behind all that,
Absolutely.
right?
What? I couldn't get done. I was brand new.
Right.
So I wasn't gonna get it through by myself.
Hmm.
But so I knew that to do something like that, the good senator, would have to be involved with that. And, she was already on top of it by the time I called her. And
Hmm.
we just worked together to make sure um that we got it right, and we said it how we needed it to. And she's always, still to this day, as senator, she's been supportive. She keeps her eye on me. She'll tap my hands when I'm getting out of hand, and
Uh-huh.
she'll support me when she knows that I'm pushing strong. So we support her. We thank her for all of her guidance. I learned so much from her. I sat next to her for a long time, her and Chuck Redpath. So sitting between those two and their wealth of knowledge for that long, I try to use that now that I'm, essentially one of the older guys
The
up
older
there.
guy now,
One of
right?
them, one of them. We got two that'll be termed out, and then I'll be one of the old guys and stuff. So I try to work with the younger people and try to, help. But they're very, very smart themselves, and they help me as well.
Crazy how quick that happens, right? How all of a sudden you're the older guy in the room, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, gonna be that and right now. So we keep going experience wise, and I just try to always keep that at front.
Right. So you mentioned a couple minutes ago history across the tracks. Tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about that.
So History Across the Track is an initiative project that we've been working on not only in my term, but there's been some work on singular buildings throughout other people's times. And it was one of the things that me and Senator Turner was talking about when she was on there. And so I'm sort of just still pushing this initiative officially. So we passed a resolution to place $1.3 million towards the restoration of four Black historic sites and more, to really tie them in, which they're tied in to Lincoln and everything that he stands for, into the city's rich tourism and adding another layer to tourism that's not here right now
Yeah,
on a
absolutely.
major scale. Especially how those two issues are linked. So there's four houses. There's the Lincoln Color Home. It is the Ambidexter Institute, which was modeled after the Tuskegee Institute in Booker T, Washington. There's the at the time it was called the All Black Firehouse. Engine House number 5 is utilized right now by Central Lodge number 3, Masonic Masons, Prince Hall Masons, and then you have the Dr. Edwin Lee Building Medical Facility,
Mhm.
which was one of the only places at a time that Black people could go get adequate medical care. And so we're going to try to restore those, add them back to tourism, and
Mhm.
where people can come see them and go in and do what tourists do.
That's amazing. I mean, that those 4 buildings are still
Yeah,
standing and
still
around,
standing.
and able to pump some money into them
Yeah,
and get them into shape to where
absolutely.
people can come and witness that history
Absolutely.
and see that.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
like you said, put it into the whole tourism
Yeah.
package when people are
Absolutely.
here, because it's completely linked. It should be a part of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we've done some work already, right? We've gotten some parking lot that was a 30-year overdue at the Central Lodge, and I know they're going to get some facade work here shortly, and we're going to help them with some things. The Lincoln Color Home, we've done some zoning already for some next steps with them. The Ambidexter House, we put on a new foundation on that one, and just recently the Lincoln Color Home, he was granted some funding to get rolling on his building. So we're making some steps towards that. This year to do some fencing and some landscaping and some low hanging fruit things, some signage and things in each one of them, to all match it up to Mr. William Donegan's house downtown, who was a guy killed in the 1908 race riot. So his home is like 3 or 4 houses down from Lincoln Home, down in the Lincoln Home area, which is, in the Ward 2. It's federal area, but it's in Ward 2 boundaries as well. So it's gonna bring an economic engine to cross the tracks to the east side, as well as the downtown area, right? Because that's the 1900 race riots burned all of, Black owned businesses down and sort of pushed it across those tracks. So there's still ruins, and that's how they found the monument and stuff like
Right.
that, even in this downtown area. So it's gonna bring some more economic activity, which is really needed. Now different people will be like, "Oh, I didn't know Clay's Barbecue was right here on South Grand," and
Right.
or "I didn't know Boys was so good," or you know, on and on. It will play out dividends on our community by bringing more economic activity, and then each one of those buildings are gonna have employees, and each one of those, so now it's
Yeah,
you
that
know
really starts snowballing
it
and going.
starts snowballing. Nehemiah and Pastor Johnson, they're gonna put 50 houses in the same area where the Ambidexter house is.
Mhm.
So now you have even more homes. They've already done some as part of their last project. So these will be 50 new ones. So now we're starting to close that gap of broken and abandoned houses. They won't be there no more.
Right.
You'll have 50 of them not there and 50 lots that have houses on them of some sort. So it's really starting to close in. We just got to keep working at it. And that's going to be a major, major, major economic tool for the East Side and the city overall. Because in general, the more tourists come, the more it helps to our bottom
Yeah,
line.
no doubt
And
about it. We just had Amy Beadle in last week. She was talking about last year tourism accounted for $600 million, $600 million in tourism revenue.
Yeah.
And this year it's probably going to be even more with the 100-year Route 66
Yes.
and the 25-year the Mother Road and
Yes.
the Women's Baseball League coming in and
Yes.
Shield Sports Park starting. I mean,
Absolutely.
all this stuff is kind of coalescing together, and it's going to be a big year.
Absolutely. So I'm trying to say, man,
Mhm.
we need to get
Yeah,
in on that.
attached to
We trying
that.
to get in. This
Uh-huh.
whole saying where I come from, cut us in, cut it out.
There you go.
We need in. But no, so that's gonna be a great economic tool. We love all the projects. I love the project. I was coaching, I ran a tournament.
Uh-huh.
I won this city's award for tourism,
Uh-huh.
legends in tourism for our tournament, and that's something I hope to see come back to really it drives a little competitive nature
Oh, sure.
amongst event people
Yeah.
to bring in
Heck
tourism
yeah, it
and
does.
who can make an impact and stuff. And we used to have what my highest I think was like 80 teams or something like that. And these are teams from all around. So each one of them got 10 teams. That's 800 kids, and each one of them got at least one parent. So that's another 1,000 people or so, but plus the crowd. So you're bringing in thousands of people from out of town just for a small tournament. So shit, that's gonna play some dividends into the city's hands. And our community, wants to take advantage of our opportunity and take advantage of all this tourism
Yeah,
coming and
no
say,
doubt
hey,
about it.
come see us, because there's going to be people who are interested in that of all colors, especially Black folks who are in search of their history.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So you mentioned the Lincoln Colored Home.
Mhm.
So for those people out there that don't know,
Mhm.
what was the mission or what was the purpose of that home back then?
Great question, man. That's a great question. It was a orphanage. It was one of the first orphanages that would take somebody like me. I'm a foster kid, right? Adopted.
Yeah.
And it was ran by a lady named Eva Carol Monroe. In fact, and this is how crazy things tie in, right? Her and Susan Dana Lawrence from the Dana Thomas House, they were friends, so to speak. So, they worked together. There's pieces from the Dana Thomas House when they were renovating that were used over there. So that's what that place was. It was a orphanage. Eva Carol Monroe, she did so much work. She's actually on that mural with Abe Lincoln,
Yeah.
Barack Obama and them. She's on there. Dr. Lee, the guy with the glasses,
Mhm.
that's Dr. Lee. Barack Obama, she's on there. I was on that panel. But yes, absolutely. That's what that place for. And like I said, the Ambidextrous House was more of a trade school thing, modeled at the Tuskegee Institute, the Lincoln Medical Center, and of course the All Black Firehouse. And then we have some historic churches, of course. Zion was one of the earliest ones. So it's really good, man. It's really
That's
good.
an awesome project, man.
And it's gonna give us a real economic boost. We've been working on it. We've done bike rides and stuff around them and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and different things to really make that more visible and stuff. Because the ultimate goal for me, right, is to get a start and interest in it, and us do our part, so we can really, really lobby the formation of the 1908 Race Memorial. Right.
Mhm.
Once that comes, oh my goodness, when they do that official race ride memorial up there on 11th Street. Oh my goodness, the tourism 600 million will be at
Right.
800 million, maybe even more.
Yeah, hitting
you
that
know?
billion mark. Yeah.
So we want to do our things with these little buildings here. So when that all kicks off, man, we have just this utopia of good things going on.
That's another thing that Amy Beadle and I were talking about, how what she tries to do and what Visit Springfield tries to do is like make a weekend getaway. What does
Yeah.
a weekend getaway look like in Springfield? And with all things that you're talking about adding,
Yeah.
and when that monument comes on, that creates a weekend getaway for
Yes.
people, and they come specifically for that set of stuff,
Yeah.
right? And then along with everything
Yeah,
else, but
yeah,
it does.
yeah.
It creates a draw.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so many people gonna come in, and you ain't gonna be able to do it all in one day. It's sort of like a Vegas. You gonna have to stay a couple
Yep.
days. So now
Mhm.
they'll come. They're gonna stay, and they're gonna go from everywhere from the Lincoln homes, the Lincoln tombs, and things on History Across the Track, that monument, and everything else. The Dana Thomas House. I mean, my ward is history rich. The
Mhm.
Dana Thomas House is in Ward 2. All of the things I just mentioned is in Ward 2. The Lincoln homes, Rachel Lindsay, a couple of those buildings is in Ward 2.
So much
We
history.
are history, really, really history rich in Ward 2. And, Root History Museum that tells that experience down at Route 66 for Black folks. Like it is so much history. So I always try to make sure that we continue to do that. Parts of 9th Street for the Route 66 go right through my ward. The new Fountain restaurant, that owner's fabulous, and he's working hard to make sure the area around him is looking good for the Centennial, as well as on down the street. So I'm just enjoying the work, and seeing the fruits of everyone else's labor. I'm just a vessel to try to get the message across and try to look at each thing to see how we make it better for everyone. Downtown, I got the Y block. The Y block's in my ward. That's a history within itself. The realtors and that plaza there. So I think downtown will be happier with what goes on with the Y block here. Surely, we know the governor has some interest and has committed to putting some money in that. And I'm just thankful that they're taking the bull by the horn and say, hey, we're gonna help y'all get something done with that. And they've been great to work with. So we look forward to officially doing that and cutting the ribbon on that and passing that on and get that work done. That's going to help downtown a lot as well. So I always try to do my part in my ward at every section. My downtown part, my east side part, my poorest part, my best part, and Pillsbury. I got some of that area over there too, the residence area, and then the actual buildings in Ward 3. And me and him worked together and worked hard to get some money on the city side to get that knocked down. So that's coming down. Yeah, it'll probably be down within a year and a half. So that'll be good, and then we'll look at what we'll put over there. So, um, we're gonna keep working. We work hard at it. Hats off to my Black Caucus, Alderman Williams, and Alderman Purchase, and Alderwoman No Toronto. We all work well together. We have great conversations with everyone else as well on the council most of the time, and we're just poised for work. It's a lot. We always get the calls and we try to just attend to the people like everyone else does and, get after it. For my particular ward, we just always look to change things because we know change is needed. Over the years, things have changed and it's been hard. Change has been hard. I'm sure that Dr. King and Lyndon B. Johnson's conversations was,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? I'm surprised that was uncomfortable for him to sit and
Right.
listen to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it was uncomfortable for Martin to give that type of conversation to the president of the United States at a time like that. So we're gonna keep on having them. I think it's only proved to be good for the entire country to keep breaking those barriers down, keep thinking new because things do change over time, and we need to keep doing it.
No doubt about it. Keep putting in the work, man.
Yes,
Making an
sir.
impact.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
what's next for Ward 2 Gregory or businessman Shawn Gregory? What's next for you, man?
Man, just on just keep things going, take next steps in all the projects that we go, and we'll have some new ones too that'll be in the infant stages. But the things that we got off the ground and that are running, what are those next steps? What do they look like, and how do we take them? That's one. For me personally, I'm finishing out some things educational wise, that only make me better. Business wise, I do look to start some sort of business again. I'll probably do a little grass and all that again a little bit this summer. I'm about to get married. Of course, that's another thing. I'll be getting married sometime here in the next year or two. We are officially engaged, so that's part of it.
There you go.
And just taking the next steps in my life. That's my thing for 2026. Next steps, right? Personally, politically, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
What are the next steps that you need to do to grow? You may be doing great, right? You may be a millionaire, but what is the next
What's
step
the
to get
next
to
step?
2 million?
Mhm.
So that's where I'm at, and that's what I've been pushing. Next steps. What's the next steps to make you better? And that's what I'm poised to keep doing for myself, for my community, and business wise as well, personally, and for the people, near and far, even people outside my ward. Man, I talk to a lot of people outside my ward, and it's all good. We have good conversations. They enlighten me on a lot. I enlighten them on a lot. Always there to help. We all together.
Well, Shawn, so much great stuff today. I like to close with these last couple of things. Let's give the audience a piece of advice,
Sure.
one on the professional side and one on the personal side to help them elevate their life or business.
On the professional side and the business side of it, I would just say that anything that you want to do, you can do, and it's gonna be hard work, and you got to put the work in. You got to set the foundation first. But if you do that, and you really, really set the foundation and learn and educate yourself on what you want to do, you're gonna find yourself successful, and it's gonna be tough. It is gonna be what is it, lone survivor? Anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
Mhm.
And I truly believe that. Just work hard at it. What are the next steps in your personal life? All of them is different for every last one of us. But what is the same for all of us is that we all need to continue to grow. If you're not growing, you're dead.
Got it.
If
Mhm.
it ain't growing, it's dead. So what are the next steps for each one of you personally and to get after it? And don't worry about making a mistake. Own up to your mistakes and keep moving, keep growing. Everyone's gonna have to be a judge. But as long as you know in your heart that you're really trying to work on yourself and get to the next phase of growth in your life, and that looks different for all of us, like I said, you will find yourself happy and successful and really living life with a purpose.
Love it. And is there anything we can do community wide to help all of us here elevate Springfield and the surrounding communities?
I think we just got to keep bonding together. Like this show, I appreciate you inviting me. Right, I got to know you, you got to know me now, and we're gonna continue on and get to know
Absolutely.
each other. Right, and I think this show and other shows like it are good for our community. I think it's really good for everyone to get to know each other and get to know what each other do. Just outside of these settings that we may see on TV or read in the paper, because often it's very different. Those are singular moments at times. So I would just encourage our community to keep growing together, even to people who you may disagree with. Get to know them. And then a lot of times you will see that they're not so much different. Like our goals and dreams and things are not so much different. How we go about them be different sometimes,
Sure.
but the end product is always the same. So that means there's room to work together. And then I'm always looking forward to that. Man, this ride in politics, I have met so many fantastic people like yourself, and it has been a fantastic ride. I've learned so much that to help not only myself but others. And the only way I got to know that is by stepping out of my comfort zone. Man, I've been in so many places where I've been the only person that looked like myself
Sure.
and just had to like I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna get to him. Hey, how are you doing? I'm woo. It's nerve wracking at first, but after so long, it's nothing. It's nothing now, and it's been fantastic because I've gotten to know some really really great people.
Love it.
Of all colors and all walks of life. It's been cool. It's been really really cool.
Keep communicating with each other, work together, because when we do work together, we grow together. Man.
Absolutely.
We talk about that a lot. Communities grow together when you work together.
Yes.
So let's keep communicating and keep
Yes.
working together. If somebody wants to learn more about what you got going on, all the different projects over in Ward 2, where do they go, man?
Well, you always can visit my Facebook page, Gregory for Ward 2. I'm very, very active on social media, and as well as emailing me. All of our information is public on our city website, Gregory for Ward 2, just like it sounds, at gmail.com. You can email me. Most people have my information and contact. I'm always out. I'm going to go bounce around after this, and I look forward to always helping.
Love it, man. All right. Well, appreciate you spending some time with me.
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate this coffee.
Hey, pretty good stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
One
is.
of my favorites.
I appreciate it,
So,
brother.
All right. We're going to let Shawn get back to elevating Springfield. But for the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at sangamontreeservice.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.
When I first walked into Shudokan Karate Club, I was just looking for a way to get stronger, but what I found was so much more. Here we train in traditional karate, the real stuff, passed down through generations. Every punch, every kata has purpose. I've learned self-discipline, confidence, and how to protect myself. Not just in class, but in real life. It's not about being aggressive, it's about being prepared. This is more than a club, it's a way of life. Join us at Shudokan, traditional, powerful, real. Ki-ai!
Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hey, don't forget while you're out on social, check ours out. You can check my personal one out at Robert Farrell, at everywhere. Check out those Elevate Springfield pages, those Big Dog Business Coaching pages as well. Check us out over on YouTube. Give us a subscribe, give us a like or a follow on any of those channels. We would certainly appreciate it. So, hey, take what you learned today. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great. Looking for personalized insurance with hometown care? David Hilst, American Family Insurance Agent, is here to help you protect what matters most: your family, your home, and your dreams. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, David and his team are proud to serve the Springfield community with trusted advice and reliable coverage. Local service, real relationships, peace of mind. Call today or stop by their office. They can build your dream protection plan together.
Call 217-726-6343